I'm very new to the whole Kundalini thing. My personal awakening happened about 2 months ago, and it's been really rough. And it's kind of calming down now. I was speaking to people in the chat. I've basically paused on any spiritual practices, trying to do more grounding, sleeping on a grounding mat, trying to kind of go back into the material world, look for jobs, and just like be more in the human state of consciousness. But I'm still a bit confused. I don't understand what you mean by purges and why those awakenings are so rough. Like before mine happened, I thought this was going to be like a blissful thing. It almost sounded like from some people like, oh, this is something so cool. And it's like perhaps it was coming from an ego of people, but I never thought it was going to be a rough one. It was an emergency situation for me. Like I wasn't taken to a psych ward or anything, but I was definitely like in a non-normal human state of consciousness. Now there's kind of like more normal periods where I feel just normal again, which is amazing for me. But yeah, I just don't understand what is a purge? Why is it so rough? And I guess because it was so rough for me, I'm curious like if another wave of the arousal comes later in life, which I'll do kind of, my best not to arouse it, like no spiritual practice, etc. Are they do they tend to be more tame and less rough? Yeah, I would appreciate your answer. Thank you.
Mm. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, so the purge is this really intense word that I use, purification, purging. For some, there are these very marked, notable periods on the journey where it's very clear that a lot of content from the psyche, from the unconscious, from our chakras, from our nervous system, from our muscles is being drawn up and being released. And when we recognize that this is happening, we can see, okay, this is purging, it's clearing, it's cleansing me as a result of the awakening. Um, there are some who don't have such a marked process of purging, period of purging. It's more gradual, it's subtle, it takes place maybe perhaps over a longer period of time, is somewhat in the background. It's manageable, very manageable. There are others who have to kind of do nothing but stay in bed and go through this. They can't go to work or do anything. They just have to do this. It varies in intensity. Why that is, we can talk about various ideas. Maybe it's their karma, maybe it's what they went through in their past, their childhood. Only natural. If you have had a very rough childhood, things are going to come up. You're going to have to process all of that. If you had a great, supportive, loving family and you were safe the whole time, well, not much to be purged. Still, some things will be there, of course, from our ancestry, from just being a human being, but it's generally speaking a little easier. If you've done a lot of shadow work throughout your life, throughout your journey, and then you have a Kundalini awakening, then perhaps there's not so much to purge. If you haven't done any personal work, healing work, and suddenly you have an awakening out of nowhere, well, likely you're going to have a pretty intense purification period. It varies greatly for everyone. And generally speaking, what I've experienced in myself and noticed in others is that, when you go through this marked period of purging and purification, generally speaking, it does get more lighter, easier, manageable if there are any other waves or cycles that come in the future. Because, of course, you've done a big chunk of the work, naturally. Secondly, you're also more practiced and experienced with the process itself. So that helps a lot too. So it's twofold. And so moving forward, you don't have to fear. You can know, hey, I survived something one time. I know what's going on now. And of course, I've done a lot of my work already. So if anything comes up, I'll be able to face that too. Also, generally speaking, there are different themes that come up throughout the various purging or purification cycles. So you may go through one that's related to one particular theme from this or that, then, maybe another in years because of something else that you're going through in life. You're going to face some other emotional themes to do with other chakra centers, for example. So they're all different in that way. So always new lessons being learned, new upgrades being had as we go through these purges. So in that way, you can get a little excited about it if you have access to excitement. Sometimes you don't, not at all. But eventually you start to get what's happening here. Every time you go through some intense release, things get better on the other side. This is how it works. And so you can get a little bit more on board with the process. But you don't have to actively do any practices to stir up energy so that this happens. Not at all. We're going through a very intense process here in the world as householders with jobs and families and this and that, right? Typically, this would happen to yogis and monks and nuns that would live in environments dedicated solely to this process with experts around to support you through it. We're going through it in a very different context. So we have to be gentle with ourselves. We don't have to push or expect that we're going to make rapid progress and do it all perfectly like we were some yogi in a cave while we're doing it in like some big city with a job and bills and all this sort of thing. Like, it doesn't work like that. So be very gentle with yourself, and you don't have to completely abandon all spiritual practice. Just a just don't engage in intense spiritual practice. It's a spiritual practice to walk in nature and just breathe and be in awe and feel that you're connected. That's very powerful, but it's not going to stir up all sorts of energy and stuff like that in the same way that, some intense breathwork practice might. So still have some connection with spirituality in more of a sort of feminine, surrendered, open, receptive way, as opposed to trying to make things happen in more of an intense masculine way. That's what I would recommend.
Thank you so much, Brent. And then I guess just to follow up, so I understand the purge a bit better now, but again, I'm kind of painted with the roughness of my experience. Like I'm struggling to see the benefits to this process. Like again, I really vaguely kind of know that it's supposed to help your spiritual evolution, your growth, etc. And I guess
Mm.
the purge makes sense, but like besides that, what are the benefits? I'm just so confused. Why is something so beautiful and divine? Why is it so intense and so rough?
Yes, yes. It expands our tolerance for the human experience. Um, not a very good answer, I imagine. But yeah, this is difficulty. This is very difficult. Sometimes we are told that spirituality is meant to be all blissful and joyful and blah blah blah. It's not. It's meant to just make us uh willing to feel whatever may come up in our experience without judgment, to expand our window of tolerance, which in the long run makes us more um confident and courageous to go through whatever life may bring. That's perhaps one reason why it's intense. There's some other ways of looking at it. Why is it so intense? Well, some of us are called to be of service, and we go through powerful initiations that are very uncomfortable just to develop our compassion and empathy for others that are going through difficulty. It's another way of looking at it. To see what we're capable of surviving, to really know our power. Life puts us through some difficulty to remind us, hey, look at what you're capable of surviving. Even this intensity, you made it through. Look how powerful you are. Maybe also not a very nice thing to hear sometimes, but these are some of the ways that we can try and understand why it's difficult at times. We can also look to the stories of all the great masters. None of them had it easy. None of them had it easy, right? Um, and so one way that we can understand our journey is, when we're going through difficulty, through intensity, we can at least say, hey, we're in the company of the great masters. If it's easy the whole time, you're not on the real spiritual path. You're on some bullshit path. If it's difficult at times, you're walking the same path as the masters. And that can give you some encouragement as well. We're here to experience everything, everything. Nothing is off limits here. We are tapping into oneness, deep states of oneness. How can we feel one with everything? When you walk around the world, you feel one with, people walking by, you feel one with the trees, one with the sky. How can you feel one with everything if there's part of you that says, I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to feel fear or intensity or guilt or shame or something in my body. You want to feel one with the clouds and the sky and the birds, well, you have to then be willing to feel one with everything in existence, which includes some of the difficulty as well. That's what I mean by we're really expanding our tolerance for what we're willing to experience. Can't have oneness if we're not willing to feel certain things. And so we go through these temporary phases where life says, oh, you want to feel oneness? Okay, feel this first. Feel this first. This pain, this memory, this intensity. We feel it. And then life says, okay, you're tolerant. You're able to feel all these things. And then on the other side of that, then you can actually feel deep, deep peace. Deep peace. That's the paradox. When you're willing to feel discomfort, like totally willing to feel it, then life says, okay, you're willing to feel it. Peace comes. That's the paradox. Peace comes. That's why. That's why. So I hope that can speak to you, Veronica. Thanks for being here.